Hello guys, welcome back to me in the shed. Name's Paul Finlay. If you don't know who I am a hobby turner. I turn loads of different things, but today's project is going to be a wee box, 4¼ inches in diameter, and it's an inch and 3/4 thick. So what I've done, I get my face shield on, and we'll just get this up in the position so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to bring my shades round to stop the shavings going all over. I have a piece in the laser machine in the background working away, so I want to keep an eye on it. You don't want to leave that on its own ever. There's still boys going away and leaving it and coming back, and to their astonishment, it is in fire and it's burnt the whole thing. You don't leave your laser going without being there. That's in number one rule. Right. So all I'm going to do here is bring this piece of waste block to the round so that I can get in the chuck. And I'm just going to use the spindle gauge, just a wee quarter inch one. So I'll see what that's like. That should be it now, almost round. Now, it's entirely up to yourself what shape you put on this. I'm going to put sort of a wee donut shape on this wee box. Right, so I'm happy enough with this shape. Right, I'm happy enough where I want to go with this shape here. So I want to bring this round a wee bit more, and then sort of a sweeping into the inside. So we'll get this a wee bit more to my liking. We'll have a wee look at that. Still a wee bit there. Throw that away. Just sanding sealer, chestnuts, sanding sealer. I dilute mine 50-50 with the cellulose thinners. I find it straight out of the tin it's too thick. Plus the other benefit, it'll last you longer. It's always when you get a wee bit of something onto the wood that starts to pop up. Sometimes I'm amazed at the colours and shapes. So that's all I'm going to do to that, and I'm not going to put any finish or anything else on it. So we want to turn this around now and put it back into the chuck and key. And that's not looking good. This is why I didn't do too much to this, because with having a spigot on it, there may be a slight discrepancy in the alignment. So what I like to do is loosen the chuck up and bring your tailstock up and center the hole where it was between centers, and then tighten your chuck up, and hopefully that should have brought it back into line. If it didn't, not a lot of love lost there. You can take it and reshape it again and bring it into the round. This is the face we're going to be hollowing out, so you want this the outside to be true and turning, and I can tell you it's not, and you can probably see that it's all over the place. I can't use that skew on that, that's too use the wee one. Right, that just trued that up again, so that I could that's a lot better now. That looks okay. Put a wee taste of sand sealer. This will show up any wee marks. Plus it'll raise the grain a wee bit, so it will need knocking down again probably. But I can do with that with a Yorkshire grit and before I finish it, before I take it off the chuck. Right, that'll do that. So get rid of the sandpaper again. we'll just take the tailstock away. And we'll bring our camera over to the tailstock so that you can see what I'm doing. So there we are. Now, it's entirely up to yourself what way you go about this. Do you leave a big rim and undercut it, or do you leave a wee marginal rim about, say, there, and then you have your wee lip to carry your lid, and this is what we're going to make the lid out of. It's a piece of cherry, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll go with cherry because I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to put the parting tool and make a wee mark. I'm going to come this side of the line. I want the lid to set in that quite a wee bit, so I don't want. It's a mistake I've made in the past. I've made the lids very thin, and with making them thin, they tend to warp a wee bit. So I'm going to leave a wee bit of meat on them this time, and that should help. And just keep an eye on your wall thickness as well. You don't want to be going through the side of it. Right, there's still a good bit on that. I might just try the wee carbide tip tool. See if it'll allow me a wee bit more. These are great for end grain. Just have to be careful because it wants to grab the wee cutter. Just We'll just stop that and have a wee look. And get the finger in and give it a wee swoosh around it to see what you're like. You can see how that's cutting that. I found that these wee carbide tools, cutters, do great on an end grain, and it'll leave you a nice flat, clean cut. That's nice. So we can take a wee bit more of this timber away. You get a wee bit closer to the piece. And bring your tool rest down a wee bit. I'm going to get rid of the bowl gouge because it's going to be too aggressive. I'm going to use a wee round nose scraper to bring me the rest of the way down. It's entirely what tool you use, but remember when using a scraper, you want to raise the height of the tool rest. You want to be raising your handle up the way and cutting. So we'll get a couple of cuts off this and see what it's going like. Where it goes around. I took that wee feather down on the bottom, so when I get more or less the depth, I know more or less that's where I can go no further. So I can take a wee bit more off this. And that's that. Just want to clean this end up. This is an R carbide tool I have. I haven't used this one much. Bought this last year, and cause I've seen it on online, and I mean, it's nice and cheap. The only thing about the round bar, it wants to pull it over all the time when you're engaging into the wood. I might file a flat end on this to help me hold it flat, because it once you engage it into the timber, it wants to pull over. It doesn't look great when you see it. It's out of shape. Just be careful with the fingers when you're sanding the inside of that. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can use a stick These are not too bad because they're not too deep, you know. So let's see around this and see what's showing up. Take any wee remaining marks out of it. Yorkshire grit is an abrasive paste, for those that don't know, and it's only for taking your last mark of your sandpaper, which would be probably 400. It doesn't take marks or scrapes out. It's only for when you finish your last grit of sandpaper, then it'll help take any wee fine marks that's still in it. We can do the outside of this now too, because we didn't do that earlier. Now we'll have the piece hollowed out, and you just want to rub it in, and when you're more or less happy enough with it, you can get a clean piece of cloth and start to take it back off again, because you don't want to leave it on. And what I mean by taking it off is when you put a clean piece of cloth on it, when it stops transferring onto the paper, you'll know that all the residue is it's been taken off, and you can apply your finish then. See, a wee bit of residue on that. It's not a lot, but it's enough. Right, so I'll just stop that before put the wax on it. Right, that's nice. I like that. I use the microcrystalline wax, and I said before, I like to finish things on the day, so this allows me to put my finish on and buff it up, and more or less that's it done. You can use oil, there's nothing wrong with oil. You need to leave them overnight, and the next day knock them back, and then redo it again, and you could be in for about 3 or 4 coats before you. So you could be talking maybe 3 or 4 days before you can get a piece finished. And when I'm working on a piece, I like to finish that day, and you're gonna feel that you've achieved something by doing it that way, you know. So that's that. Take the foot off, which is on with a glue block. Okay. Now, there's a number of ways you can mount this. Because it's near enough size of the jaws, you can use the jaws themselves and just wind them down. And if you're really lucky with your size, which I'm not, you can get it in past the recess bit, but I can still grab the recess. So that's in where the lid would go. So there's a number of ways of doing that. So the other way is get a waste block on it and turn it down to the size of the lid, and then jam chuck it on, and it just started to spin on me there. So we'll reduce the width of the see how this works. So we have a wee trinket dish, wee jewellery box, whatever you want to call it. So we'll get the lid made now. Right, I'll get their calipers and we'll get the width of this opening. I always make it a wee bit big because you can always nip up to it. I was just what I was doing there off camera was just gradually fitting that up to that so it's nice and snug, and when you push it on it gets that wee compressed air. So that's that size. Sorted out. So we have to decide now on the shape of our lid. So I've got a good bit of timber here to take away, so I'll take this. First of all, we'll do the underside of this, and what I'm going to do is cup it a wee bit and undercut it. Just check it with a ruler to see what's. Yeah, you don't want to go too much. Just a wee bit to clean it up. And then with your round nose scraper, you can just tidy that up a wee bit. I'm just a wee bit too high. Alright, I got more or less do that. I just want to try the lid on the fit again to see where it comes to. I'll just show you that on the overhead camera. A nice fit it has. So This is where you make up your mind what way you want to finish the lid. Do you take that down to there and have a sort of a wee step, or did you just take it flush over? And to tell you the truth, I think it would look better just being flush over. So I do. So put a pencil line around that, and you can see there that's how much the lid is going into the bottom. So I'll get the parting tool again, and set the parting tool, and we'll just come down to that. While there's still some strength in this, before I take that orbit off, just fit my lid again to the bottom. A wee bit more. I'll just take this out of the chuck for now and show you just what way it's sitting. Right. There's a wee bit of a resistance. That looks alright. I can trim this wee bit of wood up and make it nice, and it looks alright on for roundness, but I can just help it along by just skimming a wee bit off that. Oh, that's lovely. I think that was meant to be. Right, all I want to do with this is take a wee bit more out of uh, the recess to let that down a wee bit. You're not taking a whole lot, I'm talking a wee bit. Whiskers. Now, you have to remember this is on a glue, so you just want to finesse, coax it. Where's my mouse? Tailstock. Right, we just want to finesse this in. Right. I'm going to say that's a fit for that, and I'm going to put some sort of an engraving into that just to give it a wee bit more. So I'm going to try and pull this off now. And there you are. Not a mark on the back. We just a hot glue. It probably just took the polish off. All we need to do is give it a wee buff. So what I plan to do now is engrave the lid of this. I'll make a wee button for the to take this on and off to put your finger on. We'll make a wee button for. So that just needs finished off on the top. That'll set on like so with just a glue. We'll put something around this. I don't know what, but just to skate in the back of it. Right, that's that on. Now comes the fun bit, trying to get this wee nub. Right guys, that's the wee piece finished, bar the engraving of it. And that wee fellow will go on top of it like that. Just a simple wee box, wee trinket box for earring box. I don't want to pull this out until I get that glued and all. I'm going to use this as the thing to put in the laser engraver to engrave something on that. I don't know what I'm going to put on it, but I'm going to put something on it. I just think it'll lift it a wee bit, you know. But you can see the lid fitted okay. There's not an awful lot to it. It's just a wee simple box. A few mishaps up along the way. Can I get that out? Not without the pliers. What do I do with them? That's still quite tight, so I've room to give it a wee sand, wee light sand round with 400 after I've finished, and it's not flexible, it's quite stiff, so you can see how thin it is, and then it gets thicker towards the middle, so it's beveling, it's raised up, you see that? So